Okay, so here is a here is the screenshot of KYTC highway plan. So see, this is the map which is provided on the portal. And if you are looking for a particular location, then just zoom in and then identify the feature for which the information is desired. Here you can see that in this image on the left side there is country, route number, USGS quad. USGS is like the specific location, latitude and longitude. Okay, and we can then zoom into the particular location. Next, this is also a highway which is under construction. So this green line shows, okay, this highway is under construction and we have to take the another route to go from one destination to another destination. So we can avoid this route. It just save our time. Next, this is the plan which is under construction. So the pre-construction document which they have provided on their portal site so that they can know, because there is transparency over there. Okay, in Kentucky, there is transparency between the users and the government agency. So they said, okay, this is the uh, pre-construction document and you can have a look because it defines their location from one place to another place and all the information is over there. Okay, then next is data stewards. So basically, whatever the data maintained in our portal is primarily associated with the ownership and the responsibilities, because a lot of people came when this portal launches. For example, site owners. Site owners is like they define the mapping programs where we will meet the user's need. Okay. For example, in your company or somewhere else, if I'm going to set up a new venture, okay, but I don't know what to do. So I take suggestions from different people. Okay, what should I do? What should I do? So that it will be successful. Similarly, in site owners, how mapping program will meet the user's need. They just take the feedback. Okay. And whatever the site owners, they are responsible for the data maintenance, monitoring of data development, and they need to update their portals time to time, because construction is like sometimes construction is over at one place, then a new construction is started at another place. So it has to be updated time to time. Okay, then GIS, what is the role of GIS engineers at that time? They offers the training opportunities to the other people so they can facilitate and coordinate to view the data. Okay, and with the construction of that particular area, they are also planning for the next 5 years. Okay, see, this area has been completed and now we are looking for the next area. And another is consumer. What consumer used to do? They just download the data, whatever they required, and they can use for their personal and business purposes. Then challenges and lesson learned. Like most technology-based efforts, however, simply keeping up with industry and innovation is an ongoing challenge. Software companies are continually upgrading products and adding new capabilities. Software upgrades may present a good opportunity for making changes in design and content. When the interactive mapping program migrates from one platform to another, like one software to another software, some of the processes were unexpectedly interrupted. So now there is requirement of GIS team to scramble to get the service up and running again. And managing server access space and maintenance, it will always be a challenging program. And now future planning is what? Future is always like keep updation, keep going, keep do the technology in a new way. So here we used to, the GIS team, they add more and more tools and analytical capabilities to portal so that the users can use it easily, and it should be user friendly as well. Next, second case study is all about environmental urbanization. See, environmental and urbanization. Urbanization is like, I'm just giving you a brief summary of, about this case study. For example, if you're looking for a location at a particular place, say, I want to buy a property at this location, but for that, you need to think about that. Okay, is it possible to buy that property over there? Second comes here, or that on the perspective view of uh, civil engineers. For example, if there is a builder who said, okay, I want to build a building over nearby north, yeah, hilly area or somewhere. So he has to face some of the challenges, and it will over to the civil engineers. Now, civil engineers have to see different parameters. Different parameters like what? They have to see the green zone area, urban heat island, air quality, public should be there, physical environment, health, security, road density, traffic noise. So a lot of parameters are there. Whenever we have to build a new building, residential building over there. Okay, although it civil engineers also construct like office complex, warehouse, cold storage, ports, but uh, whenever we are talking about like the people residential area, then more parameters we have to consider, and in that scenario, SMCDA means spatial multi-criteria decision analysis. This is sufficient to tackle this type of problem that includes GIS. It is what SMCDA means. You have to consider a lot of parameters and then make a decision. Okay, this place is suitable for the construction. Okay, so here this case study is about a place that is densely, and it is a developed province, and it is located at the southwest of Turkey, and it is highly surrounded by the high mountains. Now here you can see that in this map, there are square box. Okay, in common man language, we used to say it is square box. But in GIS terms, we used to say it is a grid. And grid is what? 500 meter length and 500 meter width. So we used to say 500 meter grid plan is there, and which is used for the calculation of green field density and road density. So here with the help of GIS, environmental assessment should be there. So environmental assessment is based on the natural hazards risk and sub-urbanization parameters like altitude, road density, green field density, and traffic noise. Although a lot of parameters are there, but this study consists taken only 4 parameters. For example, you can't say, okay, I have to build this building nearby volcanoes, nearby the area where there is earthquake to be happened. Nothing like that, because civil engineers is all about the stability, sustained stability of the building, so that it can sustain for long 100 and 200 years. Okay, so this is the altitude values. Altitude is what? Elevation. Elevation values are obtained from the DEM, that is digital elevation model. So this image is basically the digital elevation model. As of now, it's just can't see anything. But when we used to do some GIS operations tools over there, then everything will be visible. Okay. So these are the parameters altitude. Okay. It is divided into 10 groups and graded by using these groups. For example, altitude varies from 250 to 475. Road density varies from 60 to 87. Traffic noise from 20 to 65. So higher the altitudes have some advantages because there is a less natural risk like flood. Okay, soil, at the Himalayas, soil texture is different. At the plain surface nearby river Ganga, Brahmaputra river, the soil texture is different. So the soil are coarser at higher location in Turkey. Okay, so here we are talking about the Turkey. Soil are coarser at higher locations than at the lower ones. And coarser soil represent better seismic characters than the fine soil. Okay, so once you got the data, this data has to be collected because this is the input and it has to be collected from the different agencies, government agencies, which will provide the this data, and survey is also included here. So using the GIS tools, we used to create two maps here. First one is altitude map and another one is road density map. Here, higher altitude is one which is shows in purple color, right? 475, greater than 475, it shows in purple color. So what does it shows? Higher altitude reflects less natural hazard risk and have high grades. High grades means, yes, there is the possibility for the construction. Next is road density map. Here, the purple color you can see in the north direction and in the south direction. Okay, so higher road density represent easily access and more parking space in Turkey, and which is showing in north and southern part. So here are two maps. Now next we have also calculated like green field density map and traffic noise map. So when we combined all these four maps together, okay, so some calculation is also there. This is ratio matrix and this is normalization and priority vectors. See, this is something, the calculation which GIS used to do at the background. And at the end, we used to get this map. And this shows that which particular area is suitable for the construction. Also, this study has considered some certain natural hazard risks and life quality parameters. Higher soil strength should be there, mitigates the earthquake damage, altitude, and it should govern the flood risk of the municipal area. So when we have considered all these four parameters, we have seen that, okay, few of the areas comes out to be favorable and some are not. So you can see that purple color, dark purple. Okay, so this is the favorable area. Mouse cursor is over there. This is the favorable area where we can go for the construction site. And this one, this light color, okay, light maroon brown color is there. So this is not favorable. So now we are talking about the evolution in GIS. With the last 5 decades, GIS has evolved from a concept to science. Okay, in 1960s, main focus was only research and collect and analyze the data. In 1963, first computerized GIS was designed by Roger Tomlinson, who is also known as the father of GIS. 1965, mapping software SYMAP was introduced. 1981, GIS went commercial by launching softwares. Now, these are the softwares ArcMap and ArcInfo. It was launched by the ISRI. That was introduced in 1981. Okay, so today what we are doing with GIS? We are creating the maps, digital maps. Okay, and data sharing is there so that everyone can access that data. Okay, and in the future, we are about to move for the web and cloud computing and integrate the real-time information. Although we are currently using real-time information as we are using GPS, okay, which is provided by the Google. Okay, so in future we are going towards the more and more using the more and more technologies, and it will be a user-friendly technology for everyone. And we can also address the issues like where the population is getting expand and the environmental crisis over there. Okay, so in few minutes, I'm just going to explain a few applications of GIS. Okay, see, uh, there are a lot of disasters. We have already seen that, like flood, cyclone, drought, earthquake, volcanic eruptions. Okay, so in this scenarios, civil engineers they have to build a building, sometimes steel structures for cyclone. So they have to think a lot of things, like they if they know ki, okay, this area, I would say, like in 2001 there was earthquake in Bhuj. At that time, we once the this earthquake impact the Bhuj, we got to know, okay, the construction should be of hard quality. Material should be hard. We have to change the material from one to another so that building will not collapse. So they have to fix the location of the bracing. Bracing can be of different types, like single diagonal, cross, K bracing, B bracing, column, shear wall. So these are the some of the terms which we have to think to build a building nearby any prone causing area. Okay. And for that, we have to do some of the uh, we have to collect the input, and input can be like soil analysis should be there, water samples you have to collect, meteorological data, agricultural data, rainfall data, slope, land use, land cover, contour. So these all the parameters should be considered before build a building in any prone cost areas. Okay. And the basic design is determined by building loads, its size, its location. Okay. So next, this comes under the structural engineering. Next one is watershed analysis. See, chemical pollution, radiation leaks, and even earth changes can threaten the lakes, stream, and river that supply the water we drink. So DEM, that is Digital Elevation Model, are an important part of watershed analysis, and it provides the basic elevation and slope data. GIS can provide graphical and numerical representation of water flow rate, its direction, its depth, and accumulation on the same map at the same time. By using all these data, engineers can help to protect the natural water resource that we all dependent on. Next is terrain mapping and analysis. See, GIS converts data into highly detailed and color enhanced 3D maps. So whatever the data you have, you can convert it into 3D. Next is transportation. With GIS tools, we can view traffic flow with population change on the same map at the same time. We can also add optimum route. Optimum means shortest path. Shortest path for future bridge at any time. Next is environmental engineering, and it's okay. So in environmental engineering, although environmental engineering is a complex science, okay, that relies on data from physical, geological, biological, social science, and a lot of features we have to consider. But civil engineers develop the structure and system that grows and sustains societies. At the same time, civil engineers must be ever conscious of the impact of their work can have on the environment. Next is wastewater and stormwater management. Sometimes design deficiency in the system that drain wastewater and storm runoff can cut off problems like flooded street and flooded basement. As I give you the example of Chennai flood. where GIS plays an important role. Next one is disaster management. So civil engineers don't just build buildings, okay? They also provide municipalities with specialized expertise in time of natural disaster. Engineers build levees in advance of hurricanes. Levees is what? A particular wall which will not allow the water from one place to another place where we want to go. Okay, we want that water goes from this place to this place. So we put a barrier over there. This is known as levees. So GIS mapping can help engineers making decision in minutes. Making the same decision using tabular data can take hours, but with the help of GIS, it is a you can do it within a few minutes, and it is a virtual lifesaver. Next, it is career path and job opportunities. It is used in various industries like supply chain management, healthcare, utilities, transportation, mining as well. Okay, surveying is there. In mining, in what sense? Like in Chhattisgarh and Odisha, there are a lot of minings, coal mining, and everything was there. So it's not possible for everyone to go manually and check. Okay, this is the mine and how much coal is will be present over there. We can do all the analysis using the satellite data. Okay, retail, finance, and insurance, financial services, insurance. So a lot of sectors are there where GIS is playing an important role. So thank you. That's all from my side.